It's bad times, folks. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately, but things is bad out there. This is from NPR, so you know it's real. Brutal day for stocks. Dow plunges almost 1,700 points on new tariff. So you know what's funny about this? When I pulled up this article, when I checked it earlier this morning, it was only down like 1,500. I remember since I got off work, it actually got a little bit worse. And so President Trump's sweeping tariff announcement Wednesday triggered a sharp drop in U.S. stock markets, a flashing red warning sign of the economic fallout that's expected to result from the widening trade war. It was the worst day in 5 years for the broadcast market stock index, S&P 500, which fell 4.8%. Dow fell. NASDAQ fell 5.97. Dow Jones fell 1,700 points, or almost 4%. And Trump has ordered a minimum 10% tax on nearly all imports starting this weekend, with much higher tariffs on goods from dozens of countries, including some of the United States' closest allies. Imports from the European Union will face a 20% tariffs. Japanese goods will be taxed at 24%. And predictably, the stock market has reflected this. And we always talk about how the stock market isn't necessarily an indicator of how good the economy is for your average person. But when the stock market tanks, it does affect the average person, the economy. It's a horrible situation that we have to read it. And Republicans crowed for years about the stock market, even though it was high under Biden, which is funny that they said that, Biden's ruining the economy, he's tanking it, Trump's going to take over this, price is going to drop. Everything has gotten worse economically since Trump's in office. And they don't seem to care. I'd say, what have you seen from this so far?
Twitter, because that's where I live. That's where my home is. I'm a doom scroller through and through. And it's actually so funny. Not even just Twitter, but the real life reactions to this is what's most interesting, because I have coworkers who are, a baseline decent people. They're nice. They're good coworkers who voted for Trump, right? Who are still continuously, like, no matter how bad things get, because every week there's something new with the Trump administration that I'll bring up. I'll be like, you see what your man's did? And they will find every new way to twist it around to something positive, in a way that is, like, to me, entirely illogical. It more than just illogical, it is damn near like a form of psychosis in and of itself. What I've been seeing, how Trumpers are able to convince themselves that all of these policies are actually good. The most recent I've seen from these tariffs is, and I'm sure you guys have seen this a lot too, the good, because it'll make companies use American manufacturers, and it will force the economy to buy American and everything American this. And I find that so funny, because the idea that corporations would, as a result of having to pay higher prices on importing these things that they manufacture overseas, would switch to manufacturing in the United States instead of just increasing prices like fuck it I would do, is crazy. Like any regular person would do, is insane to me. That's just my thoughts. I don't have anything else to say other than we're only, what is it, like 4 months in, 3-4 months into the Trump presidency. We're not even half of 1 year of a full 4-year term, dude. We're fucked. It's so bad.
Fucked, yeah.
Yeah. So this is all so bad. I'm actually, I feel like accelerationism is our best shot at this point, because like what's going to take for people to learn this lesson? How many times they have to get their dick stuck in the fucking mousetrap before they stop trying to fuck the cheese? Like, I just don't understand how the people, and I'm not even saying like normal people, normal people, you know what, you're gonna feel this very soon. Like, you're gonna get it. But like, even if you're just like looking at like, all the finance guys are starting to jump off the fucking skyscrapers. Maybe this is gonna be bad for me. Like, I don't understand how people are looking at this and going, like, even the explanation that Trump gives doesn't make any sense. We're going to make this shit here. Why? We have 4% unemployment. Who the fuck is going to do that? You know who's selling us all these goods? It's the fucking poor countries. You know why they're poor? Because they're selling us the cheap fucking goods. Because they're buying our fucking expensive services and softwares and technologies and products, the stuff that Americans are good at making. And then we sell those things to countries that aren't good at making them, and they have to make the poor shit. And it's called comparative advantage. And we both get the best of both worlds at the cheapest prices because we're good at making airplanes and they're good at making shoes. I don't want to be making the shoes. I'd rather be making the airplanes. I don't know about you, DJ.
Well, so what everyone needs to keep in mind here, this is vitally important when discussing the reaction of Trump supporters to Trump's disastrous tariff policies, is that Trump supporters love Donald Trump because he is just as dumb as they are. That is very important in trying to figure this out, because did you guys see the quartering? I don't know if you guys know what the quartering is. I'm not too familiar with them, but I've heard of these. Conservative content creator.
They were big a long time. I feel like they got nuked or something.
Yes, quartering.
Like I remember them. They're terrible, but I haven't seen them.
Big culture war 2016 to 2020. He was big in the space. Yep, I remember.
Yeah, and he wrote this in response to Trump's tariffs. You do not need the new iPad. You do not need the new cell phone. You do not need the new video game console. You want them. There's a big difference. And if you look at the people whining about the tariffs, I challenge you to ask them how their lives have been affected in any way. This is insane. It is incredible to see how conservatives have switched their entire point of view into, wow, this is the greatest nation in the world, and I can't afford to buy anything, to, well, actually, maybe you shouldn't buy anything, and say, oh, so the poisonous culture of anti-intellectualism and distrusting anyone is now playing off with conservatives to finance. Now it's like, oh, you trust these experts in the financial field? You trust when could we ever trust these guys? It's like, okay, nothing is real to you guys anymore, and it's not going to matter. It's no matter how absurd this gets, they're going to stick with Trump. They're going to love him because, as we said before, it was never about the price of eggs. It never was. It was all about their cultural superiority and hurting people. And they don't care if they get hurt as long as the other people get hurt, to the point where it gets absurd. We're going to get into the more absurd. Actually, everything about this is absurd. But a few episodes ago, when we were talking about the tariffs, one thing I pointed out, and I want to talk to everyone about it in this one, is the de minimis exemption that Trump got rid of. And for those of you who are aware what de minimis is when it refers to tariffs, de minimis is a threshold upon which goods have a dollar value that goods have to reach for the tariff to be charged. So let's say you're importing from Canada. Now you want to ship something from Canada, and the de minimis is like $50. I don't know. If you try to ship something that's $20, they won't charge the tariff. But now they will, on anything. Meaning that if your grandmother lives in Toronto and she sends you a postcard for your birthday or something, there will be a tariff charged on that postcard. Like, that is how he got rid of the minimus for Canada, Mexico, and China. So no matter how small the object is, if it costs $3 to ship, you're going to pay a 27% or 50% tariff. It's insane.
So and all imports from these countries,
no matter how small it is, and they're going to defend it. They're going to defend it. They have to, because Trump is their Lord and Savior, and they're incapable of saying, okay, well, maybe that was a bad idea. Like this major one. I don't know.
Just Ate, even if it was made by a penguin, they're going to charge 10% on it as two islands that are only inhabited by penguins have a 10% tariff on them as well.
Of course they do. This
is so clearly, I can't stress this enough. Even if you believe in what Donald Trump is selling, even if you fundamentally disagree with virtually every single economist on earth and think that America having an entirely self-made insular industry is going to be good for Americans, even if you believe that, you must look at the way that Trump is doing this and be like, that's stupid. Clearly, the people who are charging tariffs on uninhabited islands aren't the most detail-oriented. Clearly, the people who just divided, what was it? The way they calculated these tariffs was that they, hold on, I got this specifically. The way that they came up with these tariffs, they're talking about how these are reciprocal tariffs. They're based on the tariffs that are given to us, and people were quick to point out that's not true, just looking at what the tariff rates from these other countries are. And what they did to determine it was they just took all the countries in the world and they said the nation's trade deficit with us divided by the nation's exports to us. That is how they determine this. And if you don't believe me, here is a graph doing this formula and charting every single nation's tariff rate. It is exactly
Oh,
that.
wow.
This is how it was calculated. And oh, wait, it gets worse because this genius here, his name is Kush Desai. Kush Desai is a deputy press secretary for the White House, right? And he said that that's incorrect. And he gave us this formula. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys by reading what this says, but essentially, it says exactly that with Greek numbers added. This is the tariff rate, the change in tariff rate. This is our trade deficit, our exports to their country minus their exports to our country, divided by, well, this is their exports to our country again. So these three things are exactly what I just said. What are these two random letters here, E and Y? What do they mean? Oh, they mean some complicated things. Let E represent the elasticity of imports, and let Y represent, I don't know what he said Y does. I don't even know what all these words mean in context, right? But I can do the math here, right? I can see what things mean if we substitute numbers for them. And in the next section of this thing that he did not screenshot in response to this, it clearly states that the price of elasticity isn't a variable. It's just 4. And the elasticity of import prices with respect to tariffs is 0.25. So this letter is 4 multiplied by 1/4. To the geniuses out there, that equals 1. 1 times exports equals the exports. It is just the imports minus the exports divided by the exports. These guys think you are the dumbest people in the world, and if they just put some fancy looking words in front of you, you're not going to understand what it means. That is what the Trump administration is telling to Republicans out there, and the Republicans are going, well, I guess I'll just be the dumb one.
Yeah. I mean, why not though, right? I mean, they're already dumb, and so they have this sort of demagogue figure, this messianic guy saying, I'll do the thinking for you. Hey, just, you don't even have to think, dead ass. You don't even have to think about anything. Why would you not just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go whatever what he says? Because the thing is, and this is what I've learned about Republicans and conservatives and the Trump, especially the Trump voters, is that they want to be sold this lie. They want very badly to believe these things, and when you want to believe something, you're going to, you know what I mean? Like when you, and not just like a conscious, like I kind of want to, but they truly deeply in their hearts want to believe. And I know this from having conversations with coworkers that were Trump supporters, but like in every other aspect of their life, you know, when it comes to like being a human being, they're good people, you know, they're nice, they're respectful, they're, you know, generally intelligent. But when it comes to Trump, his policies and the defense of those policies, they in their hearts want to believe the lies. And so they're going to, and it's really, really difficult as leftists to combat that with logic, because that's not really how people work. That's just not how any of this works. And so it's actually one of the issues that I've seen, you know, with a lot of leftists when we try. That's why I don't even argue with people on Twitter no more, you know, when it comes to Trumpers, because we're getting into verifiable, objective, as in non-opinion, very simple, concrete facts that Trumpers will refuse to acknowledge. They're not trying to argue. It's a religion for them.
It essentially is a religion. It's gonna, and that, I think this is crossing over to another story we're gonna cover, but I feel like I can't not mention this, in that, like, we kind of see this in elections where Trump doesn't participate, in which the turnout isn't in the Republicans' favor. Like, you need Trump there. These folks aren't getting off the couch for anyone other than Donald Trump. And the religion thing is perfect, because I mean, whatever he says, they're going for. It does matter. It's like, how long has he been talking about tariffs? And we've been screeching for months on the top of our lungs saying, listen, a tariff is not a tax on a foreign nation. That's not how it works at all. This is a tax on importers. And so American businesses are going to be paying these taxes. Yeah, it's not a direct tax on you, but these these importers are not going to eat that cost out of the goodness of their heart and just sell it regular to everyone else. And even if they raise the price, it's not like American businesses are going to keep, or American producers are going to keep their prices the same when they could raise it. Why wouldn't they? I would. I mean, that's how. Yeah, you wouldn't be in the capitalism game if you wouldn't do that. So it's going to punish all the workers all around. And like John said, if the goal is to bring manufacturing jobs or production back here to the United States, who's going to do these jobs? Unemployment's like at 4%, and the time it takes to actually get the infrastructure for this is going to take a long time. And businesses, I gotta say, I don't know what everyone's going to do here, but like Nike, I saw like the taxes they have like in Southeast Asia and everything. Nike isn't just going to uproot and move all their production to the United States. Production. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They'll say, okay, well, we can, because if they did, what if the tariff goes away 3 years from now? They can just move back. They're not going to risk doing that. So it's just nonsense. I wanted to pull up what John talked about with the guy. He wasn't joking. Right here, it's like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you Justin Wolfers wrote here, impressed the crack White House economic team not only found the herd in McDonald Islands, an uninhabited Australian territory, which is a 2-week sail from the mainland requiring a permit to visit, but that they managed to figure out the optimal retaliatory tariff to impose on the penguins. Yeah. So there's the 10% tariff on the herd McDonald Islands. So, I don't know what penguins could possibly produce, but we're going to be paying for that shit. So yeah, wow. I just with the Trump voters and everything, I have dismissed all of them right now. I've grown quite tired of seeing videos of the 1 or 2 people every now and then who will say, oh, wow, I guess Trump is a bad guy because I got fired from my job and now I don't like him anymore. Fuck you. You did not mind that Trump was going to punish all those other people. You heard this man talk for 10 years. You know what you were voting for. And you thought that he was going to go after the bad people, the Venezuelan immigrants, the trans folks, the college professors. But you were part of the group of people Trump really loved, government workers. You thought you'd be fine. You didn't think you would get fired. So don't expect me to have sympathy for it because you didn't have sympathy for anyone else. So I'd say I agree. Like, I don't know what to do now. Like the best thing we just got to ride this out because there's no convincing these people at this point.
There's nothing I try as a leftist to have hope, dude, but it is not seeming even remotely possible that we can break even 1% of the Trumpers out of whatever mind control that they've been induced into. It really seems like one of those situations where we focus on, consolidating power, consolidating, unity within the people that are already sort of progressive, leftists, whatever word you want to use, as opposed to trying to convince anybody else to leave the cult of Trump. It doesn't work. The cult has only gotten more powerful. We voted him in. He won. He took the W. That's crazy to me. That is still something I'm trying very hard to wrap my mind around. He just won. And so, what do we do now? Not a damn thing. Sit and wait. Sit and wait.
So, John, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, that's the thing. We have to sit, we have to wait. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that we need to internalize right fucking now. In 2008, the last time we went through dumb fucking financial shit ruining our country. And let me be very clear. This is way dumber than that. This is dumber. This is dumb on a scale unprecedented in modern history. Nothing like this has ever, nothing so dumb has ever been done on such a large scale as this. We can't allow people to pretend like they didn't support this.
Yep.
We saw what happened when we just believed Republicans that they were cool with gay people now. They just switched to trans people. They used all the same arguments, all the same bigotry, and just went to trans people. And they got upset when there was pushback against that because they didn't actually learn their lesson. They just learned, oh, it's not okay to say these things now. They never understood why. They never understood why Republicans were bad under the Bush presidency. That led directly to the 2008 global financial crisis that ruined so many lives, both here and all over the world. They never learned that lesson. They just learned they couldn't say some things anymore. And when we added to that list, they got pissed about it, and boom, we're right back to where we were before. There's going to be a moment. Here's where I disagree with you guys. This is unsustainable. There's going to be the true believers that never stop believing, but
sure,
it's going to get very, very, very bad for a lot of people. And it's going to become undeniable. Again, remember, the vast majority of Trump voters have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're low information voters. They do not understand it. They did not think he was going to do this. And even if they did, they didn't know what it actually meant. And so when it slaps them in the fucking face, we can't, like, we need to accept them with open arms in the sense that we need to be ready to take them and show them a better way. But we need to make damn fucking sure that the Republican Party is eradicated from the fucking root. Every single Republican that has gone along with this needs to be eradicated from public life. They can't be allowed to continue existing and continue to spread this bullshit. This needs to be the moment that we just wipe the ideological slate clean, because there will never be a better opportunity for it.
So, John, my question is, why would you believe them this time? Like, if you just talked about how, well, they said they were cool with gay people. Oh, they lied because they lost and they were embarrassed. And then they say, oh, we're cool with Trump. And then Trump fucks everything as, oh, actually, I wasn't cool with Trump. I can't stop them from voting correctly. I hope they do. But someone who's been like, I saw a video of this lady who lost her job somewhere in Washington, and she was complaining that I didn't think Trump would do this. I thought he'd get rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse, but I didn't expect that he would fire me. And it's like, the lady I saw looked well over the age of 19, and 19 is my unofficial and rather generous cutoff for anyone who voted in last year's election. Like, well, who's this Donald Trump guy? I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't paid attention to anything over 10 years. And it's like, okay, fine, maybe you didn't know. Everyone else knew enough. And so, sure, they may change their mind, but like, they changed their mind on George Bush and they just went to Donald Trump. I don't expect these people to well, all right, I will make happy here. The only people who that would apply to, like you said, people who just weren't politically engaged, people who voted for Trump because, oh, he's the celebrity guy. And those people aren't voting at all. Like, I don't think those people are voting for anyone other than Trump. But I think 90% of these folks, I wouldn't trust them at all. Not at this point.
So this is what I'm saying, TJ. This is what I'm saying, because you're like, why would you believe them? There's two separate answers to this. One, you don't need to attack them from the top. Like, what we've talked about this all the time, TJ. Democrats need to just start running Republican primaries. Just
I agree.
Sweep them out. Run whatever dumb fucking platform you want. Get a fucking nomination, and then just switch. John Fetterman did it to us. Why can't we do it to them? You know, like just do that on a mass scale. These people are too dumb to win on their lives, right? Just do that. Get them out of Congress. Just eliminate them. It really wouldn't be all that difficult with the massive blue wave we are going to see. Like, it should be pretty easy to forget 2008. Forget the 2008 supermajority. I want to see 70 plus seats in the and I'm not even fucking joking. Like, that should be the goal. And again, you're laughing. But here goes to the second part of the question. I don't think anyone is fully allowing themselves to comprehend how bad this is going to get. We are 2 months in, and we're already going to shit. It's so quick. I couldn't even have predicted how rapidly. Like, he has exceeded my expectations for how quickly he would be fucking up so badly. It's not just 2008 where it's like, oh, we know everything is bad, but no one really understands why. We need to wait until like 2012 for that guy to come out with the movie to explain it to everyone. Like this is pretty clear shit. This is shit that you can get across to the average American of like, yeah, guys, tariff bad. Global trade good. It's not that complicated, and you just need to hammer it over and over and over and over again. We did it with fucking the Nazis, right? Like, the Nazis were just persona non grata. You could not do, if anything, even resembled them for the next 80 years, maybe a little less than 80. You at least had 60 years where you could anything that smelled like a Nazi was dead on the water. And that is what we need to do to Donald Trump. And that is how bad it is going to get. It's going to get to those levels. And people just don't want to admit that, but it's going there.
I think it is going to be. I think I fully agree. I probably am not even grasping how bad it's going to be.
You
And I
can't. We've
fully
never
agree with
lived
it.
through it. Like, we
You're
do
right.
not have a point of
It
reference
is.
for an
It is
economy this
going to
shitty.
be. And this every single step of the way, this has been the most unprecedented administration in United States history. Like this, Donald Trump is doing things with every single executive action, is doing things that we have never even imagined a president could do. Like, it's actually unbelievable. However, I maybe this is a difference of hope, but I think we underestimate the cult of personality and the stubbornness of the majority of right wingers in this country. Those people are, at least to me, unlikely to switch in any meaningful way. Sure, they might acknowledge the damage that has been done as a result of these tariffs, because they'll have no choice but to acknowledge it. It will materially affect their lives. However, as we saw with that quartering tweet, as I've seen on tweets every single day, with every single executive order and everything bad thing that Trump has done so far, there will be a large group of people that have enough cognitive dissonance to reframe this to either blame the Democrats or say it's actually good. And the thing that Trump has built now that won him the presidency, in my opinion, is an incredible network of communicators that will communicate this to the masses. He has Elon, who owns Twitter, which is now a right-wing cesspool. Ugh. He has now, I mean, what he did, when I saw all the people that attended his inauguration, I knew insofar as like the media went, communication, social media, he got it. Oracle, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, these are all billionaires that have aligned themselves with Trump in some meaningful way. And these are all people that are capable of shifting the conversations around politics, and boosting people like Joe Rogan, people like who's even popular now. Like I know is
what the
Logan, Dave Rubin,
yeah,
the Logan Pauls,
yeah,
whatever, like the Milo Yiannopoulos isn't popular anymore, but
God, he was awful, wasn't he?
God, he was the worst. What's that one guy that lives in Malaysia that always talks about
Ian Miles Chong? Yeah,
Ian Miles Chong, right?
That girl from The Wire, she left. What was her name?
I'm trying to remember.
Anyway, I don't remember.
The point is
Brett Cooper. That's her name.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The point is, as long as those people exist and have the backing of these big billionaires, these big corporations to reframe this narrative in favor of Trump, I don't think we will even see 10% of the base move away in any meaningful way. Sure, they'll they'll take it to the chin, is what I'm saying. They'll take this to the chin, and then you know what? They're gonna keep on keeping on. They're gonna keep on with Trump.
So, all right, I think third option. I agree with that. I think the best case scenario we have here is a George W. Bush style situation. That is the best case scenario we have here, in which I can see things getting so bad that people are forced to admit, like, okay, well, clearly it's hard to blame this on the Democrats who weren't in power or some faceless global elite. And Trump, we can track everything he did and it was awful. And okay, maybe Trump was bad, but what I think we're going to end up is what we see now with like Mike fucking Pence. Like I saw these tweets by Mike Pence have been blowing my mind. Where Mike Pence says the Trump tariff tax is the largest peacetime tax in U.S. history. These tariffs are nearly 10 times those imposed during the Trump-Pence administration and will cost American families $3,500 a year. And then he had another one. I pulled it up. Where is it? Right. I think it's right here. Yeah, right here. 69%. Nice. 69% of Americans in this Fox News poll are right. Tariffs on imports will make products more expensive. So you have a couple of, now Mike Pence is like, his career is over ever since he dared to stand against Trump. But I think that the best case scenario we can possibly hope for these folks who voted for Trump and they're all in and say, okay, well, the problem was Donald Trump. And the Republicans have already, there's a few Republicans in the Senate, Rand Paul, one of them saying, well, actually, tariffs are bad. We shouldn't do this. We should try to claw this power back. I don't think that they're going to realize, right-wing framing of political and economic issues is the problem. I don't see any hope for that at all. John, you mentioned that, I think you said the accelerationists were correct or something like that. But I think accelerationism is just the default. Like there's nowhere to go.
We have no choice. But
there's no choice. Like
there's nowhere to go but forward. Therefore, we might as well go as fast as possible. So
there's no hope here. It's going to get really bad.
Ate said a couple things there that's going to make an excellent segue into our next topic, because I do have, as usual, a silver lining of hope to share with you. Because Ante, you mentioned a couple of people like Joe Rogan. You mentioned, social media, like, Meta, Google, Oracle, they were all there at the Trump inauguration. Yeah. Let me tell you something, Ate. Joe Rogan cracked for the first time this week and said that I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, it was horrific that
I can find the clip
was sent to El Salvador without due process. Yes. And like, Joe Rogan was upset about that. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he should renounce his support. And I'm like, yes, he should. But it's good. Directionally, we should cheer this on. You mentioned Google, all these tech companies. Did you see how far the NASDAQ was down, Ate? How far do you think these stock prices can fall until you start seeing them come out against the administration? And let me tell you, it's not going to be all that fucking long. These shareholders do not like seeing those numbers, and they will fucking revolt. So those are two parts of it. And if you want to hear the last thing I'm going to say, make sure you like and subscribe right now, because we're done with this video, and you better be here tomorrow when the next one drops.
Nice. Very good.
That was a great episode. Thank you guys for being here. Depending on which episode you just watched, I probably already told you to like and subscribe. So if that is the case, well, go get someone else to do it, because we got to expand this audience somehow. If you liked Destructo Hugo, our good friend Ate, you've probably seen him before on this show. If you haven't, bad on you, because you didn't like and subscribe. But if you would like to see more of him, Destructo, where can they find you?
As usual, you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, at all the handles, Destructo Jugo, one word, 2 U's. I'm definitely expanding more into making more content on YouTube. I say that every time, and I still have not dropped a new YouTube. Dude, I've been writing for months, but it is coming. It is coming. I got a couple coming, and I'm also getting into, if you guys have noticed, like more like sort of mini video essays. The Doomsday MCU Avengers Doomsday was like the first of a new type of video that I'm going to be making sort of my main focus, which is just like 2 to 4 minute short video essays about particular topics. Check out my one about warfare, about Alex Garland's Warfare. I dropped it today. I want to see what you guys think about my opinion on that. But yeah, thanks for having me. And that's where you can find me.
Fantastic. We love it so much. Thank you so much, Ate. Folks, we don't care if you're pro left wing, anti left wing, do the right thing and like and subscribe to this channel. We'd appreciate it. Catch you guys later. All right. Good times. Good game.